All right, so for those of y'all that are new here or didn't make it out last time, we're gonna all try to stay together this time. I'll stay on the phone with him. When he says y'all are getting on the on-ramp, we'll all go together. We're not going in the main gate by the ticket booth. We're gonna go straight in off Portuguese Road, which y'all will see. I'll stop and pull in there. The gate's dummy locked. I'll get out and open it. Everybody come through, and then I'll lock it back behind us. Once we go to tech, we're all gonna stay at tech end. Once the last guy in the back gets teched, I'll walk back up to the front, and when we all go, we'll all go to the back of the lanes. Remember who you're paired with. Try to get near each other as we go in the back of the lanes, all right? Right now, if your guy doesn't make it over there and doesn't make the cruise, you win. But you gotta go break the beams and just go down the track. You ain't gotta go down through there hard, but just make a pass. Does that make sense? All right, so if everybody, it's gonna be single eliminations. Whoever wins the first round is gonna go on the list. We're then going to come back to the drivers meeting after that one, and we'll all draw random numbers 1 through 10. That's how the original list will get set. All the 10 cars that lose,
do a shootout.
Everybody's going to jump into a shootout, and whoever wins the shootout at the end of the night is going to get to call out the 10 car, just like our normal deal. Is everybody ready to go? Everybody's here. We're ready to go.
The sun goes down if I have regular glasses on.
You gonna win some races today?
You know what? I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try, buddy, you know. So we can't do live and die by your tune-up. You put the new bottle. I know what it took to go down today. I don't know what's gonna take go down tonight, but we're gonna take a stab at it. But I'm gonna beat them all. We need to look see if we put out time.
A beautiful Friday night out here at Richmond Dragway, the final nighttime list race of the season. It's Halloween weekend and the crowd jamming in for what looks to be one awesome Friday of drag racing action as we bring you the debut of the Super Street List and the Ultimate Street List. It's Get Fast 1 RVA List night in Richmond, and we're ready for some drag racing. Go for the debut of the Get Fast 1 RVA Super Street List. You win the position, you land on the list. You lose the position, you go into the shootout, and we kick things off with two of the baddest street rods in Richmond. Jason Blankenship over there, the Pontiac, Chris Lackner here, the Farmer Machine Caddy CTSV on the Pertex side of the racetrack. We're getting ready to launch off, and this is the first run of the Super Street Get Fast 1 RVA List. Jason Blankenship in sharp control from start to finish. Here comes the caddy running him down. Is he going to run out of real estate? Absolutely, as Blankenship moves on to the list. Chris James and Joey Buck pull up. Here on the Thornton Motorsports starting line. Buck here on the Pertex side. James over there. On the George Mason Mortgage lane, it's the ultimate Mustang Camaro battle here, and the Mustang moves first. But Joey Buck in his Camaro drives around the starting line advantage. Gonna muscle away to the win light here on the Pertex side of the racetrack. It's nothing but Joey Buck landing his spot on the Get Fast 1 RVA Super Street List. The Fairmont comes up here on the Pertex side of the racetrack. Gerald Driver lining it up against Matt Sangpeel over there. Jimmy B and Matt Sangpeel. Your pair for the Get Fast 1 RVA List Super Street action. Ready, set, race them. The instant green start, Sangpeel launching well, but B in control right now, heading out to the top end. Give the win light up to the Pertex side of the racetrack. Jimmy B scoring a win and hopping on the list. Is Andrew Wiggins and Cascade Tiaga coming up. Here on the starting line, Wiggins over there on the George Mason side, Tiaga here. A pair of Ford Mustangs going to try to make their way onto the Get Fast 1 Super Street List here on Friday night at Richmond Dragway. Look at that, right from Jump Street. Wiggins in control over there on the George Mason side of the racetrack. Here comes Tiaga's Mustang. He's not got enough. Wiggins makes his mark and lands on the list. John Hampton and Patrick Depew, your next pair up. These guys have battled it out thousands of times on Friday nights. This time it's for real. Hampton, the four-door caddy. Depew, the Chevrolet Camaro here on the Pertec side of the racetrack. Neither one of these drivers going to want to give up an inch. Depew moving first over there. Hampton is in a position to chase, and he's all going to look at taillights here. As Patrick Depew streaks away, breaks into the nines, 999, 114. It's Pablo Mosigu and Keith Breslin coming up here. Chevy Corvette and the Pontiac Firebird, both of them leaving right together, launching off to the top end. Pontiac in control as the Corvette starts to stand on it, and right down the Pertec lane, the Corvette lands a spot. Get Fast 1 RVA List. Brian Allen and David Childress. Allen coming up in the Malibu over there. Childress here, the Chevy Corvette. Paddling two very tough competitors, both of them going to leave nothing on the line as they try to challenge their way on the Get Fast 1 RVA Super Street List. Bragging rights, dragging rights, and trying to be one of the top 10 competitors in the RVA. And Allen leaves Childress watching. Look at that. The Malibu streaks away on the George Mason side, 927 to a 975, and it was all Allen. Mike Miranda coming up against Zach Reed here. Miranda over there, the import. Reed here in the Ford Mustang. Interesting battle. One of the final pairs of the Get Fast 1 RVA List shootout. One of these guys going to land as a top 10 competitor. Is it Miranda? No, not today. Zach Reed runs him down on the top end and gets his way onto the list. It's Chris Simberg and Paul Lemon coming up. The big bad pickup truck taking on the Honda over there on the George Mason Mortgage side. What an unusual pair here for the Get Fast 1 RVA Super Street List. The front wheel drive Honda taking on the C10 pickup here. The Honda moving first. Does the Honda have enough? We'll see as they make their way down the Richmond Dragway quarter mile. The Honda out front. Simberg strikes his spot on the Get Fast 1 Super Street List. Here's John Williams and Louis Dimitrizen here on the starting line. Both drivers bumping in. Wheels up launch there for Louis. And it's all Lewis down the Pertec side of the racetrack, streaking away from the win line to 10-17. Scores the win at almost 130 miles an hour. We move into the ultimate list for the RVA Ultimate Shootout. These guys trying to challenge for the number 10 spot on the Get Fast 1 RVA List. The tow truck of Brandon Terry taking on Andrew Wiggins' Ugly Duckling. I can tell you, Brandon's been waiting for this moment for a long time. The tow truck been under construction just about all season. He gets the starting line advantage. Does Wiggins have enough to run him down? Not today. It's all the big tow truck taking the round one win. Tim Hall, been on the list before, trying to earn his way back on it now, taking on Doug Hayes in that potent Chevy Camaro here on the Pertec side of the racetrack. Hayes, he's watched his kids run juniors for years, and he said now it's time for Daddy to get a little action, trying to make his way onto the RVA list. Tim Hall, trying to get back on it. Hall launches first. What's going on here? Hall pulling over to the side of the track. How about that? Unusual turn of events is a push up the ramp for Doug Hayes' Chevy Camaro. You would have had to believe that car was one of the best and one of the brightest to try to make his way onto the Ultimate Street List. Gino Anarama and Patrick Watts coming up. Watts has been on the list before, the Rick's Tire and Auto Oldsmobile team, taking on Gino over there in the Chevy Camaro on the George Mason side of the racetrack. Watts has been known to do some huge wheel stands, so watch out here on the Pertex side. Let's see what happens. This time it's Gino with the wheels up launch. Does he have enough to hold off Watts' hard charging 442? Yes, he does. Gino launches his way into the Get Fast 1 RVA List Shootout Round 2. So here we go, Ben Chick bringing out his new Mustang over there, taking on Charlie Robertson here. Chick in a Mustang that's been on the list before, but Chick's never driven it in the list. Both drivers staging up. The Pontiac moves first. Does Ben Chick have enough? Absolutely. Runs him down and runs it out the back door. Ben Chick scoring a round 1 win. As Billy Alley and Jennifer Martin bring their hot rods up to the line. Alley over there getting a little tuning help from the number 1 guy on the list, Richard Tillman. Sneaks in the door and says, "You got this." The problem is he's running Jennifer Martin. If you don't know Jennifer, you do know Michael, I'm sure. This is one potent Pontiac here on the Pertex side of the racetrack. She's trying to sneak her way on the ultimate list, but she'll have to get around to hard charging Billy Alley. Let's see what happens as both of these drivers bring it up to the starting line, staging up, square them up, instant green start. Billy Alley moving first, wheels up launch, and the Mustang not going to look back all night long. Alley marches out to the top end, makes his way to round 2 of the shootout.
All right, so now we got John Gunn and Don Huckstep. All right, so let's do the Ultimate Street Shootout real quick. Whoever's up in the shootout for Ultimate Street, step forward.
Come up with the Get Fast 1 RVA List Super Street. Round number 1. This is for the shootout. This will be the challenge for the number 10 spot. It's Paul Lemon and Cascade Tiaga coming up. Ford Mustang and the big pickup here. Both of these drivers did not earn an immediate spot on the list, but now they get a chance to run off for the number 10 spot. Pickup moves first, runs into a little bit of trouble, it looks like. Slow to get past the 60-foot timer, and it's all that little Ford Mustang over on the Pertex side of the racetrack scoring the win light. Next pair rolling up, Matt Sangpeel and Chris James, another pair of guys who didn't find their way on the initial list, who'd love to earn a shot at the 10 spot. James and Sangpeel pull up here on the Thornton Motorsports starting line. The little Ford Mustang taking on the little Chevy Camaro. This race has a little bit of everything for everybody. The guys on the starting line making a little motion over there, asking drivers to back up. We'll get them reset. Check out this Pertex side of the racetrack. So we'll be down for just a quick second, make sure that everything's okay. Hopefully we'll get to bring them back into the beams here. Sangpeel actually going to get a comp single. Mustang getting sent up the ramp for Something Lincoln, and Matt Sangpeel going to get a round 1 shootout victory as he tries to make an assault on the 10 spot. He launches well, heads down the 1320 and bolts into round number 2 of the shootout over on the George Mason side of the racetrack. So the next pair do their burnouts, and it's nothing but a caddy over there on the George Mason Mortgage side of the racetrack. How about that Chris Lackner dude, the Farmer Machine Caddy CTSV. So we got the battle of the racing caddy CTSVs, and boy, if I had my shot, I'd drive one of these hot rods. Lackner, the 2-door over there, leaving first. Hampton in the 4-door, trying to chase him down. Top end, which CTSV makes it to round number 2 of the shootout? It's nothing but Chris Lackner over there on the George Mason side of the racetrack. Next pair knocking out their burnouts. John Williams in the little Ford Mustang lining up with David Childress here on the George Mason Mortgage side of the racetrack. Childress and the Corvette, one of the inaugural members of the Get Fast 1 RVA List, now trying his hand at the Super Street. He got knocked out in round number 1. He's now in the shootout, trying to get to that 10 spot. Williams over there moving first. Does David Childress have enough heading out to the top end? The win light's going to go. Childress moving to round number 2 in the shootout. Mike Miranda coming up here on the Pertex side of the racetrack. Competition single for round number 1 of the Get Fast 1 Super Street Shootout. Michael moved to round number 2 of the Challengers bracket. His potent little Mazda here. Ready, set, and racing. Streaking down the Pertex side of the racetrack. So we get ready now for some Get Fast 1 Super Street List action. These are guys that in round number 1 earned their spot into the top 10, and now they're defending positions. The Super Street side of the list, you are seeing history tonight as the Super Street list begins to take shape. Joey Buck and Jimmy B pulling up here on the starting line. Joey over there on the George Mason Mortgage side. Jimmy B here on the Pertec lane. The Fairmont taking on the Chevrolet Camaro. This ought to be a great little drag race. Both of these guys running well in their first round action. Now they're on the Get Fast 1 Super Street list. Jimmy B controls it off the line. Fairmont marches off for the win light, securing his spot. Jason Blankenship and Louis Demetrison coming up. The Pontiac here for the firefighter Blankenship taking on Ford Mustang for Lewis on the Pertex side of the racetrack. Look at that. Blankenship actually moves first, and Lewis has a chance to run him down top end. Does he have enough? Looks like it's going to be Jason Blankenship scoring the win for position on the Super Street list. Your next pair, Chris Simberg and Andrew Wiggins, the fourth coming up. Both drivers leaving almost identical off the starting line. Does Wiggins have enough to hold off that hard-charging Honda? Heading out to the top end, the win light's going to go. Simberg in the Honda, knocking out the Ford Mustang of Wiggins. Patrick Depew comes out of the burnout box. On the George Mason side, Zach Reed bringing up the hard-charging Mustang on the Pertec lane. These guys won their first-round matchup, so it's put them in the top 10. And now it's jockey for position time. Zach Reed, Patrick Depew, both drivers leaving right together. The Camaro and the Mustang make their mark out to the top end of the racetrack. And the win light in round 1 of shootout action here, going to Patrick Depew. Looks like the next one, a monumental matchup between Billy Alley. Alley coming up, taking on Ben Chick over there. Alley, he's driven a lot of stuff over the years, had some very fast bracket cars. Ben Chick, his brand new, just right out of the shop, Ford Mustang over there. Josh Konski reset at the last list night, reset the national record with his Chevy Corvette. He's been hard at work on this beautiful Ford Mustang. And now we've got Billy Alley lining up with Ben Chick. Position runoff here for the Super Street side of the list. As Billy Alley bumps in on the George Mason side, here comes Ben Chick. The instant green start. Alley moves first. He's all out of shape and almost into Ben Chick. Top end. Ben Chick going to get the win light on the Pertex side of the racetrack. Wow, what a crazy run right there. Alley gets 2 handfuls of steering wheel. Boy, got in trouble right off the line. So we get ready here. Another pair of the Ultimate Street cars, Sean Waddell and Gene Anaroma. Gino over there. Last round, Gino had a great starting line launch, had a nice wheels up run, and he'll try to repeat that again. A little nitrous purge as Waddell bringing his hot rod up. It's all Gino. Look at that launch. Nice, again, wheels up launch and right down the Pertex side. He is serious about getting onto this Ultimate Street list. The tow truck coming up. Brandon Terry, the man behind Get Fast 1 and Performance Dynamics, finally got the tow truck all together. And tonight's the night that he says he's challenging for the number 10 spot. You see Chris Akers out there lining him up. Terry purging the nitrous as the rusty old, crusty old pickup truck starts to make the way up to the starting line. Brandon Terry getting a free shot to the next round of the shootout. Here on Friday night at Richmond Dragway, Get Fast RVA List Ultimate Street action here. These guys challenging for the number 10 spot. Brandon Terry going to take a freebie right here as he moves to the semifinals, I believe, of the shootout. We move into some Ultimate Street List actions. John Dunn bringing up the Crusty Dart. Dunn going to line up here with the Ford Mustang of Don Huckstep. These guys have battled back and forth nearly all season long. What a great couple of competitors on the Get Fast One Ultimate Street List. Dunn, formerly been at the top of the list. He's now trying to challenge his way back up the list. He started the season in the number 10 spot, debuting the new, it doesn't look so new, Mopar over there. He's going to take on Don Huckstep, who's really gotten excited about being on the RVA list. This guy had always just messed around on Friday nights, and now he's getting serious about some list racing. John Dunn takes the stage bulb, and so does Huckstep, and look at Dunn. He's going for the sky, baby. He lands it down. Does Huckstep have enough to get around him? Yes, he does. Huckstep takes position. John Dunn nearly flipping that hot rod over there on the George Mason side of the racetrack. Wow, what a run. That one's for the highlight reels, baby. Going sky high with John Dunn. Over there on the George Mason side of the racetrack, the Get Fast One Camaro taking on Otter's Camaro here on the Pertex side. Otters comes in and says, I'm all ready. Double bulbs as Clary makes her way up to the starting line. Clary going to bump in, turn it on, and get ready to race him here for position. Clary, oh no, huge problems. Fire shooting out of the Camaro. Yes, Trisha out of the car. Looks like she's okay. You guys will begin to make sure that the car is out and that everything is safe over there on the George Mason side of the track. Clary out of the car and A-OK. Unfortunate turn of events for Trisha.
Another run on the Ultimate Street List for the Get Fast One RVA List. And it is Pete Decker, the AEV Performance Chevy Camaro, lining up with Purple Rain, Mr. Gene Motley. This pair getting ready, set, racing them. Heading out for the top end. So what light's going to go? The side of Pete Decker. Decker missed his position.
Here we go, Super Street Shootout. Cascade Tiaga and Matt Sangpeel coming up. Sangpeel in the Chevy Camaro, Tiaga over in the Ford Mustang. Lining up on the Pertex side of the racetrack. This is Shootout for the Get Fast One RVA Super Street List that's debuting here tonight at Richmond Dragway. A cool quarter-mile list. Real street cars that have made the cruise from over at the Performance Dynamics shop all the way to Richmond Dragway, and now Sangpeel going to try to take out Tiaga and earn his spot onto the Get Fast One Super Street List. So Tiaga's in, pre-stage, staging up as Sangpeel going to bring his Camaro up on the George Mason side of the racetrack. Sangpeel with a big old wheels up watch, marching down the George Mason side, and he won't look back. Matt Sangpeel going to take the position win. Chris Lackner here, the Farmer Machine Caddy CTSV, pulling up on the Pertex side of the racetrack. He'll get a comp single, take the tree, pull it up the ramp, and he'll be a happy dude going to the next round of the shootout. Mike Miranda and David Childress coming up. An unusual pair as Childress brings the Chevy Corvette. Miranda over there bringing up the import, representing for the import guys. The only problem is this one's LS Power Planet. Launching off the Thornton Motorsports starting line. They're pretty even from the get. Top end, win light's going to go. David Childress, side of the racetrack, the Mighty Mouse team scoring the win. Chris Simberg bringing up the Honda, taking on Brian Allen here in the Malibu. Honda over there on the Pertex side of the racetrack. Malibu over on the George Mason lane. Both of them staged up and ready to race them. The Honda moving first as Allen makes up the difference almost by the 60-foot timers. The Malibu streaks away down the George Mason side of the racetrack and puts the wind light up. Jason Blankenship, monster burnout for his Pontiac, lining up here with Joey Buck. Blankenship out of Mechanicsville, Buck out of Newport News. Both of these drivers have been dancing around with these RVA lists for over a year, and now they're getting ready to solidify some action on the Super Street list. Friday night at Richmond Dragway. It's Blankenship moving first. Joey's in a position to chase, but does he have enough to chase him out the top end? The wind light's going to go. Jason Blankenship over on the George Mason side of the racetrack. Blankenship going to the next round. Louis Demetrius and Patrick Depew coming up. Ford and Chevy battle make their way to the starting line. Louis on the Pertex side. Patrick on the George Mason lane. Louis rolls through the beam. Something happening over there. Starter walking out, asking both of them, reset and get ready. So they get the signal to refire. They'll pull back up here onto that Thornton Motorsports starting line. Ford and Chevy battle. Both of them getting ready to race their way onto the Super Street list if they could. They can't, so they won't. The Mustang, Lewis, leaving launching hard, trying to hold off the hard charge of the Chevy Camaro. Top end, the wind light's going to go to the Chevy over on the George Mason side of the racetrack. Here comes Brandon Terry and Ben Chick. Terry brings up the tow truck. Ben Chick brings up the Ford Mustang. Got Josh Tonsky out there helping to make sure that Mustang's ready for battle. You got Chris Akers over there making sure all's good with Brandon Terry and the big bad pickup. This is a great race between a couple of great drivers, but also great fab shops who have put together two beautiful race cars. Well, a race truck and a race car. And the race truck ain't so beautiful. Terry sits pre-staged and says, bring that Mustang up. The tow truck's hungry. Chris walking up and giving a little last-minute instruction as Ben Chick pulling up. This is a battle for Mechanicsville bragging rights right here. Ben Chick on the Pertex side. The little Mustang that could is going to try to take down the big tow truck that's, well, been tough to beat tonight. Let's see what he can do here against Chick. Terry bumps in, stages up. Ben Chick rolls in. The instant green. And oh, baby, this is going to be a tight drag race all the way down the Richmond Dragway 8th mile. Wind light goes to the tow truck. Brandon Terry knocking out Ben Chick. Gino coming up here, going to get a bye run. He does the same thing that a couple competitors have done. He just takes the tree, breaks the beams, and says, I'm ready for the next round. So the final will be Gino against Brandon Terry. We've got actual ultimate list racing here. Will Williams bringing up that coppered Mustang. Over on the George Mason side of the track, Chuck Otters, the Chevy Camaro. This one's got a little something for everybody. Those Chevy fans over there with Otters. Ford crowd with the blue oval. Riding high with Williams. These guys are on the ultimate list. And they're trying to race for position here. Williams and Otters. As Otters brings it up. Getting ready to turn on that pre-stage bulb. Williams going to find his way to the starting line as well. Another Ford and Chevy battle here on the starting line. This is an 8th mile finish line, instant green, and Williams got all kinds of high right there. Huge wheel stand. Does he have enough to hold off Otters? No way. The Camaro drives around for the win light. Mike Ratliff coming out of the box, taking on Don Huckstep here. Huckstep on the Pertex side of the racetrack, and Ratliff over there bringing it up on the George Mason Mortgage Lane. Great couple of competitors, part of the RVA Ultimate Street List. Ratliff puts it in pre-stage and says, come on, Don, let's race them. Both drivers getting ready to square off here. Huckstep leaves before the tree is activated. Ratliff runs into problems, but it doesn't matter. The wind light's on his side of the racetrack, and he holds on to his position, Mike Ratliff. David Childress and Chris Lackner coming up here, semifinals of the guys challenging for the Super Street List. Childress over there in the Chevy Corvette, Lackner here in the Caddy CTSV. Lackner bumping in, finding his spot for the Farmer Machine Cadillac. Childress over there, the Mighty Mouse Solutions Team Corvette. Getting ready to race them down the quarter mile here. Lackner moving first. Huge hole shot off the starting line. Does Lackner have enough to hold off the vet? Not tonight, baby. Childress moving on. It's Matt Sangpeel going to take the bye run here. And all he has to do is take the tree, and that's exactly what he does. He'll pull up the ramp and say, David Childress, I'll be waiting. We've got some Super Street List action here for Keith Breslin, Chris Simberg. Breslin over there in the Corvette. Simberg here in the Honda. The most unlikely of matchups coming up here for the top 10 competitors in the Super Street List. Look at that, the Honda taking the starting line advantage. Does Simberg have enough to hold off the Corvette? Absolutely not, as the vet streaks away on the George Mason side of the racetrack. A 1082 takes the position. Zach Reed and Brian Allen bring up the next pair. Brian Allen over there with 4 different colors on the Malibu. Lots of work been done on that hot rod to make this debut of the Super Street List. Zach Reed, the beautiful Mustang, as Allen moves first, the wheels up, watch, and the Malibu going to streak away on the George Mason side of the racetrack. Look at that, 933, almost 146 miles an hour. It's Jason Blankenship and Jimmy B going to be your next pair of competitors. B coming up the Fairmont, and Blankenship over there in the Pontiac. Former #1 competitor on the Ultimate Street List is now trying to leave his mark on the Super Street List. Blankenship coming up to take on the Fairmont of Jimmy B. Both drivers finding their spots on the track. B says, I'm just about ready, as Blankenship makes his way up to the starting line. Ready, set, race them. Blankenship moving first. Jimmy B got his work cut out for him as they cruise down the dragway quarter mile. Jimmy B takes control of that thing in the back half of the racetrack and goes 9:23 to the win.
Got one more race to run. Got to get back on this list. Let's see if we can get it done. We got a hard one to run here beside us. But we're going to turn it loose. Hopefully we ain't late on the tree, we can make it.
They pull back over, took them
Back to the front.
dropped that bitch like 60 degrees.
Here is the final run of the Ultimate Street Shootout. Gino going to line up here with Brandon Terry, the tow truck taking on the Chevy Camaro, and both drivers have had a great night of drag racing action. Both competitors want a shot at the 10 spot, but only one of them's going to land there. Who's it going to be, the little Chevy Camaro or the big, heavy pickup truck? And oh baby, it's going to be a free one for the pickup truck. Gino runs right into problems, and Brandon Terry going to challenge for the 10 position coming up on November the 18th. The big tow truck finally found a spot on the Get Fast 1 list if he can win his challenge for the number 10 spot.
All the long nights, all the hard work, all the money spent, all the busted knuckles, it's come down to we're trying to get this truck on the list again. You know, we came out the beginning of the year, we blew it up, we rebuilt it. We watched all these cars come out and try to get on the list. They couldn't get on the list. They've been trying. They've been breaking stuff. You know, everybody's been going faster. It's our turn. It's our turn to come out here and show them what we can do with this 4,000-pound truck with a small block nitrous motor. We are getting on that list tonight.
So we got to get Gino's car pushed off the racetrack. He ran into trouble, and we'll get him clear and head back into some Ultimate Street List racing action. Here comes Chuck Otters taking on Purple Rain over there on the George Mason side of the racetrack. Gene Motley, Chuck Otters lining up position runs for the Ultimate Street List. Look at Gene, wheels up, watch the Chevy Camaro muscling down the George Mason side, and Gene Motley says, no rain tonight, baby, it's all purple and it's all me. Taking the position for Chuck Otters. Here we go, finals coming up here in the Get Fast 1 Super Street action. Matt Sangpeel bringing up his Chevy Camaro, going to line up here with the Chevrolet Corvette of David Childress. Childress here on the Pertex side of the racetrack. Coming up for Team RPM, Mighty Mouse Solutions. Sangpeel over there in the Chevy Camaro. Starts rolling ahead, going to get ready to take the tree and say, David, come get some. We'll see what happens here. These guys racing for the right to challenge the number 10 spot. They launch hard. It looks like Sangpeel's out front. Here comes Childress, marching strong on the Pertex side. Does he have enough? Oh no, looks like Childress running into some troubles as Sangpeel streaks out the back door and earns the right to race for the 10 spot on the Super Street List.
Didn't think I had a whole lot of chance against him. I knew he'd been running real fast all day. So I knew I had to tree him. And we lined up. He had to hot lap his car because he had to run against the CTSV 10 minutes earlier. Pulled up, ended up treeing him a little bit and had him mostly to the 8th mile. And then I see his headlights come flying around me like I was standing still. And I thought, oh well, I made it to the final. I was happy. And all of a sudden he starts slowing down and I start gaining on him fast. And the wind light comes on in my lane and I didn't believe it. I thought, no way. There's no way that I could have beat him.
Then all I see is I hear a pop, a whole bunch of white crap coming out from underneath the hood scoop. Then I see flames, so I figured I'd probably put the car in neutral, get it stopped, and then make sure my mom wasn't freaking out. But
you're not calling him out?
No, I called him out, and we were going to run on the 18th.
Okay, but he can't run you tonight. And you don't want
he says his car is broke, so I'm not going to take his position on it just because I can.
Gotcha.
I'm not going to be that guy.
So we're going to sit on this one, we're going to try to get on the next
We're
one?
running the 18th.
Period.
Either he races me or I'm taking his spot.
Y'all doing it off the trailer?
That's up to him. I'm not worried about that. Off the trailer or on the trailer, doesn't matter. I wanted to race. I've got put off last week because of the rain, and now I'm ready to race.
Next time we're going up, and I'm going to put space between your cars. That way there ain't no question. You ain't got to worry about the tree. Like that. Done. Good night.
So that finishes up the final races of the night and gives you an all-set Ultimate Street List and an all-set Super Street List. You want to be here on Saturday. November the 18th is the final list race of 2017 strikes. It's Get Fast 1 Saturday at Richmond Dragway coming up November the 18th. Don't miss it. List racing at its finest right here at Richmond Dragway.